Hey guys,
Hi.
I'm Fran, he's John with a Corporate Breakout Couple, and wow, it's been almost 5 years since we've retired from the corporate rat race, and it's been 5 years of not setting alarm clocks, it's been 5 years not having to report to a boss, it's been 5 years not having to calculate our annual leave to fit in our holidays, it's been 5 years of actually booking our holidays first without having to check whether we've got annual leaves or getting any approvals. So it's been certainly quite a journey these 5 years, right John?
Yes, and there are many takeaways that we'd like to share with you more candidly in today's video. Of course, also sharing some of the backstory, so that perhaps we could be, a little story and inspiration for you to get started on your financial independence, early retirement journey as well.
Yep, and because we are only in our mid-40s right now, we retired when we were 40 years old in the year 2020, I think our sharings kind of be more interesting and more valuable as opposed to, example, maybe a 75 or 80-year-old talking about his or her retirement journey when they were at 65, 70, right? So we hope that this video can give you a bit of more insights to what an early retired life is all about, and we can't wait to get started.
That's right. So we call ourselves the Corporate Breakout Couple, right? And there is a reason for that, because we were both corporate employees for the longest time, right? 10 over years. In fact, we only hatched our financial freedom plan in 2016, and we managed to get retired by 2020. So one of the reasons why we call ourselves Corporate Breakout Couple is also to encourage many of you who are also trapped in the rat race, right? Having been in a corporate world or a 9 to 5 for that matter for the longest time. So I myself, I quit my last job in September 2020. I used to be in the IT sector doing sales. Of course, before that, some of the backstory in 2018, 2019, we both came out to become hawkers, right? That didn't work out, and we both went back to the corporate. So we want to share with you that, everybody is different. Everybody has different background. So our background is as such. You can find it all over our channel. We share it openly. And that, no matter where you are at currently, right, it's always entirely possible for you to find your financial independence. So in 2020, when I first cut my last job in 2020, I will share with you that my experience, the sense of freedom, the finally like, I don't have a boss anymore. I don't have a corporate system that I need to adhere to. That burden of many years, decades actually, to lift off that burden, is very hard to explain to you, and you got to experience it in order to know what is it like.
And I think, you see, we choose to be early retired. We were not forced into retirement, you see. So there's a very big distinction here, because when you choose to early retire, you obviously have already a plan. Like us, we already have a plan on what's next in our lives. Now for some people who are forced into retirement, now what does that mean? It could be forced into retirement because of age, right? You're 65, 70 years old, your body is breaking down, you just cannot work anymore, you have to be you have to go into retirement. Or it could be an unexpected illness that is forcing you to quit your job, and you have to now take care of your health, right, to regain back your health. That's also a forced sign of retirement. But for us, we actually chose to go into retirement. So we already have a purpose, we already have a plan that we want to go into. Now, was that plan crystal clear? Do we know exactly down to the very T what we wanted to do? Of course not, right? Life is a process and life is a journey. So we also move along with that. But you see, we intentionally early retired, right? We were not forced, or we didn't fall into retirement, and that's a huge distinction that I want you guys to understand, so that when you are planning your retirement, the day after you retire, you're not lost, you're not purposeless, and you don't go, uh-oh, now that I don't have a job, I don't have a boss, what in the world do I do with my life, right? And that is something that we find a lot of people who are actually forced into retirement, they do have that sense of loss, there's no direction, there's no purpose.
Yep, and one thing that we want to share is actually we really got working on, for example, our YouTube channel in 2022. Right, we shifted over to Penang in May 2022, and we started our YouTube channel in October 2022. So the time frame between end 2020 to 2022, we actually had 2 years of experiencing, like we can do whatever we want. We were watching a lot of Netflixes, we were doing a lot of walks, and having a few parties here and there with our friends because it was during COVID lockdown. So in that sense, that 2 years were our retired, not doing anything years. And I can share with you that from my experience, after the first year, I do get pretty bored. And if I were to ask myself at that point of time, for the rest of my life, let's say for the next 40, 50 years, if I were to continue just watching Netflix, yes, working on my health and maybe having some social activities here and there, would I be happy? Would I feel fulfilled doing that? Because don't forget, we are still young, right? At that point of time, in our early 40s, we were still young. So if we were to not, do anything constructive, anything that is of value, to the world and to then add value to ourselves, I would say that, we might be forced back into working because we felt so purposeless.
And I'm sure you've heard people who, retired in their early 60s, right? And then suddenly, they're doing contract jobs, they're doing 1-year contracts, some of them even went back to their old organization, and you ask them, hey, why do you go back? Oh, very bored at home, don't know what to do, so I go back to work, right? Now, I'm sure you don't want to be in that situation when that time comes, right? You worked so hard all your life to exit the rat race, to finally retire, but then 1 year later you find yourself back in and you use the excuse, oh, I'm bored, I've got nothing to do, so I might just go back to work, right? Now, I want to talk to you about something very important that I realized in 2021, right? So 2021 was a year of rest and relaxation for me because we worked really hard all these years, and I told John that 2021 was a year that I just want to kick back, chill and relax. So we did, like what John said, we did a lot of parties, we spent a lot of time with our friends and family over Zoom, or when we were able to, it was physical. However, guys, do you know that our brains is also a muscle, right? And we need to exercise our brains. So what I realized was in the middle of 2021, maybe July, August, I found that my brain wasn't as sharp as before, back when I was in corporate, right? And it was starting to worry me because sometimes I can't find the words that I wanted to say in conversations, and I noticed that, right? Every few conversations, I would lose my train of thought, or I can't find the exact word. Now, then what I realized is, so this is what happens with people with dementia and Alzheimer's, because they don't use their brains anymore in retirement. And brain is a muscle, and what happens to a muscle when we don't use it? Loses its mass, right? So your brain is essentially shrinking when you don't use it. Now, I don't want you to go, see, this is the reason why we cannot early retire. No, don't use that excuse. Basically, what I'm trying to tell you is that when you retire, you need to have a purpose, and that purpose must be beyond, going for holidays, having conversations with people, just having a chit-chat session, watching Netflix, reading newspapers. It must be beyond that. It must be something of contribution to yourself and to others as well. It could be people in your family, it could be people, strangers, it could be the community as well. And when you are in contribution, you actually need to activate this part of the brain, right? You need to strategize, you need to think, you need to, for example, you've got maybe this enough money to only survive for yourself. But if you want to contribute to others, you need to make more money, right? So that you can give more. And when you need to make more money, that's where you need to put your brain to work. So this is the reason why we highly encourage all of our viewers, all of our community members to also find something that drives you beyond work, especially after retirement. Think of the bigger picture, right? Think of what is it that I want to contribute to the world? What are some skill sets that's unique to me that I can contribute to the world so that it adds value to them, and in return it also adds value back to me.
The element of personal growth is one of the key takeaways that actually I would like to share. And whatever that we shared today is purely from experience. It's actually experiential. So it's very hard to say something in theory. For example, example, you have not hit financial independence or early retired, you won't know what's the experience of that until you get there. So our 5 years of experience, which is one of the reasons why we made this video, is to share with you that if you don't gun for personal growth, and the beauty is you can gun it at your own pace, or rather you can grow at your own pace. Nobody is forcing you to grow, right? Like work, they need you to get certification for certain projects, or so that you can handle certain large scale projects. It's not like that. Personal growth is entirely up to you. And the reason why we want to have personal growth is as the world moves forward, and if we don't follow along, especially if we are retired, then you will get left behind and you will get disconnected with the rest of the world. The more you feel disconnected with the rest of the world, the more inward focus you will be looking at. You'll be only looking at yourself, and you tend to find yourself being very negative around the world. And that's something that we, through our personal development courses that we have gone through, that we were aware of. So when we started our YouTube channel in 2022, we didn't know what's going to happen. We didn't know whether people were going to follow us, people were going to watch our videos and all that. But what we know is it was a new exciting project, and we knew that we were going to travel very heavily. We wanted to do something different from what many other maybe travel bloggers do, or even like financial channels do. So we kind of do somewhat of a hybrid. We showed an early retired life where we are traveling constantly, but we don't just travel for fun. Right? When we travel, we take a portion of that time to make something perhaps meaningful for people. Let's say like we came from Singapore, Malaysia, right? So when we go to Korea, we try and find something interesting that everybody maybe can have something to learn about, to be aware about. And in comparison, right, when you are living in this country like Singapore, and we're comparing to South Korea, comparing to Japan, you have that somewhat basis of comparison when we talk about the cost. Because cost is something in the world right now. Everything is escalating. Global inflation really hit, and we felt that when we travel around all these places. So in doing so, when we set up our YouTube channel, actually the two of us learned the most, right? I dare say that two of us actually learned the most, because the process of going through, doing some research work, actually going to the place, doing the filming, understanding, learning, and experiencing it, the end process is we both grew so much. And through our YouTube channel, we connected with so many people as well, right? With you guys, our viewers, our subscribers. Also, we met quite a few people in person. We also collaborated with quite a few people out there. So I would say that experience has been tremendous for us. And again, if we didn't take this step, we could have just chosen like many other early retirees, right? Stay quiet, stay low profile, just live out the rest of our lives, because the monetary aspects already handled. But if we do that, then we are unable to raise our game to the next level, and we will not have growth in that process.
And life is all about growth. When you're not growing, you're stagnating. And when you're stagnating, you're actually decaying, right? Just like a tree. When a tree stops growing, the tree dies. The dying process has already started. You just can't see it because the process is so extremely slow, right? But the process has already started. The decaying process has started. So you, as a human being, you don't want to do that. You want to be growing and learning and obtaining more life experience, and you want to continue doing that until the day you die, right? Your learning only stops when your heart stops beating. That should be the way, right? And we just want to encourage all of you that if you're thinking of starting a blog or a YouTube channel, go ahead and do that, because you never know where that project will lead you to, what kind of exciting doors it will open for you. And if you're always in the state of wondering and pondering and not taking any action, well, that's the state that you'll be in, day out, year after year, right? So we want to encourage you to just go ahead and do that, and you really have nothing to lose, And if don't worry about people talking bad behind your back or saying nasty things, because at the end of the day, you may just be a 5-minute conversation during dinner, and that's it. Because most people love to talk about themselves. They are only focused on themselves. So if you're worried that you're going to be, a big part of a dinner conversation or a big part of a gossip session, have no fear. Most people do not pay attention to you, and I'm talking about in general. They don't even pay attention to us anyway, right? So just be bold and go and live your life authentically, okay?
Yes, and for you guys who are thinking of early retirement or just gunning for retirement because you are sick and tired of your job, I would say that push factor, it's good to have, but have reasons why you want to go for that early retirement. In fact, I would even say that retirement is early or not is actually a choice after you get financially independent. So the thing that you want to first gun for is financial independence, which means you have enough money passively that comes in, that cover your expenses, enough for your travels, enough for your needs and your wants. So when you get to that superior position financially, now we are talking. Do you want to retire? Do you not want to retire? It's entirely up to you, right? So the key thing is when you get to that state of financial independence, the time freedom comes. Like right now we are this is a Monday morning and we are filming while people are at work. So this is time freedom, part of time freedom actually, because you can actually choose when you want to film, or in our case, you can choose whatever you want to do. It's entirely up to you. Well, is this considered work? Yeah, kind of, right? You know, we are filming, we have a bit of a script, but I mean, not really work as well, right? It's not a work that's dictated by your bosses, by the company, because you have to, right? We are doing it because we get to and we enjoy it.
And we want to.
And we want to because we want to give value to you and we want to share with you that, you know, being financially independent can actually give you an edge in life where you have freedom to do whatever you want, even if you choose to work. And that's the beauty.
So I want to share as well that retirement has gotten a very bad rap, right? People think retirement is, I cannot have an income, I must not have an income, I must only rely on my savings, and I must never ever work. No, whoever said that, right? Is that in the dictionary? No, it's not actually. If you look up the word retirement, it actually doesn't mean all that, okay? Retirement means you're retiring from work that you don't want to do anymore, that you needed to do in order to survive, but now you're at an age where you don't have to rely on the income anymore, therefore you don't have to do the work that you don't want to do in order to survive, right? But retirement doesn't mean that you cannot do something that fills you with joy, that fills you with satisfaction and fulfillment, right? Now, what is work? Work is actually something that you exchange for money, correct? But what happens if you're doing work and you're receiving money, but you actually don't need that money to survive?
And you enjoy the work. Yep.
So isn't that interesting? Why can't you retire from work that you don't want to do in order for you to do work that you want to do, but at the same time you don't need to rely on that job or that work to pay you that salary? And if you do get salary, that is a bonus, that's extra, but if you lose that money, you actually don't have to worry because you are not relying on that salary to live on.
Yeah, and that's psychologically is a very freeing position to be on. And that's exactly the position that we like to advocate today.
Yeah, and for employers, right, let me ask you this question. Would you rather hire somebody who's always in desperate need of money and money drives them at work, right? And they find all sorts of excuses to get more money, more increments and whatnot, and they jump ship every time there's a bigger, newer offer out there, right? And you know that you cannot maintain this employee unless you keep giving this person big bonuses, big increments, and money is the only thing that holds this person at the job, right? Or would you rather hire somebody who's truly passionate, who truly wants to be there because they have something that they want to learn, they have something that they want to contribute, right? And money is actually at the back end of their mind, right? Of course, you need to pay them their fair wage, right? But it is not the most important.
Getting yourself to that financial independent state, then you can really have a think about what. Of course, you need to have a back idea already when you're gunning for this goal. But once you get to that position, right, you find that so many more doors open up for you, which it did for us as well. You know, plus we shifted to different country as well. So be bold and gun for that. Be courageous and go for your financial independence, because I really truly believe everybody is gunning for time freedom because they want to free up the time for them to do whatever it is they want. So guys, let us know in the comments below, when you finally hit your financial independence, what do you intend to do? What are your plans? Share with us and comment below. Otherwise, this is us, the Corporate Breakout Couple, signing off. Please hit the like button and subscribe to join our channel. Share this video with all your friends, and we'll see you in the next video.
See ya, guys.
Bye-bye. Hey, do join us for our free masterclass webinars where you are up your financial literacy, break out the corporate rat race, and gun for your financial independence. Do register for it now.